Alright, with Brawley being done, we can get back in that boat with Captain Briny, head back up to his shack, watch them circle around the table, and immediately head into Petalburg Woods now that they are open, and try to find our next encounter. Most common here I've found is Carnivine, but there are some decent mons here, Steenie included. After this run, you'll see in the future, I've kind of become a big fan of the Steenie line, if you will. Serena's pretty good, fairly bulky mon with an interesting niche, and then it gets Drop Kick, which is a grass-type physical move that automatically lowers the opponent's attack. So we'll go ahead and name this encounter after that, because that's what it reminds me of. So with Brawley being defeated, our level cap jumps up from 21 to 25, which is really nice because it grants us immediate access to Steenie's final evolution, Sarina. Pretty nice to have a fully evolved grass type at this point with 120 base attack and 98 in both bulk stats. I wanted to showcase here Sarina's nature and IVs real quick. Minus attack sucks, but 19 IVs aren't terrible, and you can never complain about 31 defense IVs. Nothing really crazy happens in Petalburg Woods. The fights are pretty easy to calculate for, so they just go off without a hitch. A couple goodies outside of here, though. You can find some cherry berries, orange berries, and that feint attack TM. And then up here, there are 2 revives you can find, just a little fuck you from Dexa, as well as a pretty handy super potion to boot. One fight I did want to showcase, though, was against Rich Boy Winston, which is deceptively difficult. He's only got 2 Pokemon, a Furfrou and a Mightyena, but at this stage in the game, Furfrou is pretty fast and pretty bulky. Its ability halves all damage from physical moves. So I led with Masquerain to get the Intimidate, and then my plan was to switch into Venoshock to Toxic it, but unfortunately I get crit, and Venoshock's life ends. I forget here that Furfrou's ability is not Fluffy, which is the one that Beware has, which grants a weakness to fire types, but it's fine, we can recover. Take a quick little critical hit, and then I get a pretty lucky Flame Body burn. So I'm just roosting to stall it down while taking reduced damage, and just slowly but safely keeping my health topped off and slowly whittling it down with aerial aces. I'm not sure what the common strategy is here. It's pretty dicey, as I said early on in this game. There's not a ton of options you have at this point to handle these things. Mightyena comes in, it intimidates me, so I lower its attack right back, and then get another really lucky Flame Body proc. A pretty common theme you'll see coming up here. Now that it's burned, Dreadnought can easily handle it. Just a couple Rock Tombs, because that's highest damage at this point. Or I guess Ice Fang would be technically, but yeah, so that's Rich Boy Winston. Just gonna run back on down to the Petalburg City Pokemon Center and drop off our dearly departed Venoshock into box 14, soon to be renamed to the appropriate RIP plus. I try to make a sad face. Can't really do that with a dot, but I find the quotation marks and the /. Venoshock would have been good. Specifically, there are some really important fights that Salazzle helps out on. The next fight I wanted to talk about is this first double battle between twins Gia and Mia. They've got a Friend Guard Clefairy helping to bulk up its partners that only has Follow Me or Helping Hand, so it's either taking all the damage or it's helping its partner by buffing. Absorb and Drop Kick here are really, really nice because they resist Electro Web, and Absorb resists the Dazzling Gleam from the, the Dene. Out comes the Abra. I'm very much still trying to understand double battle AI in this game. It's very difficult. It goes slot by slot and then rolls damage for each. And then I think it picks highest damage. Bringing out Jawlock here, and then quickly switching him out for Roll Out the Donphan to avoid the Electro Webs, and then just one-shot the Abra. At this stage, I don't have... I have one Protect Pokemon, Metatite, but it's kind of a waste of a slot. Bringing out Quiver Dance here to get an Intimidate and tank the Fake Out. And I don't really take that much damage from Electro Webs, plus Masquerain allows me to go for Bulldoze, which hits both sides super effectively. So with that, just one quick Ice Shard and a quick attack will finish off twins Gia and Mia. With twins Gia and Mia defeated, we are granted access to Rustboro City, home of Roxanne, the notorious gym leader I was talking about in the first episode. Pretty important encounters here. You fish up here. I get a Remoraid, which is the dupe, so I get to re-roll the encounter, and we get Clam Pearl. There is a Moonstone you can find in Rustboro City, which will allow you to evolve Clam Pearl into Huntail pretty early on, and that's pretty key because it learns Ice Fang by level up, and with its really high physical bulk, it is usually a perfect counter to her Demon Dog Zygarde. With Clam Pearl in tow, we can move to the right of Rustboro City and find ourselves a second encounter. This time I catch a Nidoran female. Never actually had this one before, but it is also a contender for the Moonstone that you find in Rustboro City. Basically, what you do is just calc out the fight with either and see which one you need more in order to win. There's actually one more encounter I could have picked up in Rustboro City. There's some grass that Dexa put there, but I decided to delay and just go right into the fight with Roxanne. Idea here is to break the Focus Sash with Krabby and then take it out with Brick Break, which brings out the Zydog. At this HP range, it's pretty random move, but I get unlucky and he shoots 1,000 arrows out, but Donphan is a beast. With Never Melt Ice, the Ice Shard will always KO. At this range, I'm also safe most of the time to the Aurorus, so I can bait that in, get the Bulldoze, and then with the Speed Drop, I can take it out from there. Lunatone is a real monster in this fight with stored power and weakness policy, so my strategy here is to go into Dreadnought with a Chesto Berry, hit a couple Rock Tombs, really slow it down, and then ensure that I can take it out before weakness policy procs, and before it gets an Ancient Power Omni Boost for stored power. Salt Rock comes out, but I think I'm safe to a Stomping Tantrum. Just gonna pause the game real quick, just to run a couple calcs in the background. That's why it's paused. I do decide that my safest play here is to actually switch out into Masquerain, dodging the Stomping Tantrum, plus getting a free Intimidate. So when Stomping Tantrum fails, the power doubles to 150, but it'll never go for it in Masquerain. Switching out into Herdier for another Intimidate, and tanking a Rock Slide, go for a Bite. And at -2, barring any crits or any flinches, which is pretty risky because Psycho Cut has a raised crit rate, I can go into Trop Kick, and after 2 Trop Kicks, it goes down, which baits out its last, Caracosta, get another attack drop, tank a Zen Headbutt and an Aqua Jet, and that, my friends, is Roxanne and the second gym leader of this game taken down. Now that Roxanne is defeated, the level cap will jump from 25 to 32. Figured I didn't want to just leave you off with just the Roxanne fight. That's only about 8 minutes of video. So I wanted to quickly showcase a couple of the fights afterwards, most notably how to get the second rare candy of the game. It requires you going from one single fight to a double battle against this guy's Komala and his Gyarados. You can heal in between, so it's just important that you stock up on healing items. Stoutland plus Luxray make this pretty easy. Just 2 beefy Intimidators against 2 not-so-beefy physical attackers. Plus, given that you have pretty significant level advantages, makes this fight pretty easy. Next up, though, is the double battle, which is a little bit more tricky to plan for because that's just the way that double battles go. My plan here is to lead with a pre-damage Meditite in order to bait 2 attacks from the 2 leads of this fight, which will make predicting around it pretty easy. General plan for a lot of double battles involves this strategy, where you basically just null 2 attacks into a Protect Mon, that's why they're so valuable in this ROM hack, and then take out as many as you can with the guy on the right. So like I said, High Jump Kick is going to Detect, while Absorb goes for Magical Leaf for the one-shot into Simipour. Since this double battle isn't what we call a true double battle, it means you can take out one side of the field while leaving the other side alone, essentially, so it becomes a pretty easy 2v1 for most situations. Here, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, so I swap High Jump Kick out into a Mon that can take any move from both Perugly and Jawlock, or from Perugly and Masquerain, excuse me. Jawlock happens to be a perfect candidate for that. So Absorb takes 2 Super Fangs, while Jawlock goes for a Rock Slide to KO the Masquerain, and then Absorb finishes the Perugly. Out comes Sneasel, decently annoying, but again, we've got 9 levels over these guys, so it's pretty easy to just go for a Rock Tomb and a Aqua Jet finish. And with these 2 defeated, you can see that the guy on the bottom moves up, which opens up the path for you to grab the rare candy. Coming up next is a fight in the tunnel that leads from Rustboro City to Verdanturf Town. It's a little bit tricky because the lead Pokemon is a Sandaconda with the ability Sandspit, which means when it takes any damage, it sets up Sandstorm, and in this game, of course, it's permanent. And on the rest of Hiker Mike's team are a bunch of Mons that are really powerful for this stage of the game that take advantage of that. So my main way of dealing with this is Rosalia using Worry Seed to change its ability to Insomnia is what it is. And then Hell Cherry Berry allows me to get off at least one Magical Leaf before I have to switch out. So I go into Bubble for the Aqua Jet to KO. This baits out Stoutland, which is an absolute beast for this stage of the game. It's actually an illegal Stoutland. You can't get it normally at level 26. And just running a couple calcs to see exactly what it is that I need to do. So I swap into Luxray, Intimidate it down, and then it howls. So that's great. We're both just at neutral attack here now. Just go for a couple sparks, hope for no crits, and since I'm electric type, I can't be poisoned or paralyzed. Proc his held Lumberry there from the static spark second effect. Bring out my own Stoutland, and since the sand is not up, I outspeed, which brings out the Clefable. Just gonna run a couple more calcs here to figure out exactly what it is that I need to do. Determine that I'm free to go for a secret power. Maybe I get some flinch hacks, take a couple special attacks. It's no big deal. Oran Berry heals up. Last but kind of absolute least is this Probopass. In the sand, it's actually a real threat because of its ability Sand Force, which powers up Steel, Rock, and Ground moves. Probopass is not really a special attacker, but with the boost, it's pretty hard to answer if you don't have the correct things. Luckily, we've got Rollout to go for the Bulldoze, and that's Hiker Mike. You can exit down here, find these wise glasses right here, and those will come in super handy later on, and we have entered Verdanturf. We've got time for just one more encounter here, and actually end up finding a Fluffy, which is pretty rare, pretty unique on this route. Definitely one of Gen 2's absolute finest. Ampharos will absolutely come in handy later on against the Rotom in Watson's gym. With the Seismic Toss TM, it easily 3-hit KOs while also taking pretty much no damage from it. So keep an eye out for next time. We're going to take on Rival Shell, as well as a couple of difficult fights on this route, as well as, of course, Watson. Thanks so much for watching.